y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 73 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you all so much for being with me today. Our tangle is going to be MySwing. It is by Simone Menzel, CCT, and she is in Dresden, Germany, and her blog site is Zentangle.com. All right, so this is MySwing. It is about the echo lines. And some people have trouble with this. I loved a pattern by Helen Williams, CZT, on this, something similar to this. So I've been playing with this type of thing for a long time, but I have never drawn this pattern, even though it has been really popular. So let's get started. I'm going to be working on a gray tile today. It is an original Zentangle tile. And I'm going to be using my black 01. I get too many stray lines with my PN to do the fine pen work that is going to go along with this tangle. All right, so I'm trying to decide how much of a string or something like that I want to use today. So what I think I'm going to do is just put a border on here. And as I draw each of my dots and connect the border, I want to take some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I just can't help but make those lines curvy, and that's going to be fine. Now, I don't know that I necessarily need a string for this. I think I'm going to, it's a very organic type of a pattern, so I think I'm just going to find a spot and start and see what happens, as is usually the case with me. So I think what I want to do, as I usually do, is work on the diagonal today. And I'm going to start with the first step in the top of one of the corners. So MySwing starts with some elongated S shapes, and you can make them going whichever direction you like. It doesn't matter. Let me turn this. All right. So you can turn your S shapes whichever direction you want, but start up in the corner. And what I'm going to do is put something like this. I think my shapes are going to be backward S shapes. I'm going to make one of my strokes a little bit longer. And so mine are going to look something like this. Again, I've never drawn this before, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But let's find out. So this is about echo lines, and at the apex of these hills that we have made, we're going to draw echo lines down until we come to a spot in the dip where we are going to put an orb. Okay, so let me demonstrate quickly and see if I can do this without. So start at the apex of your hill. Come out just a little bit, make a curved line, and bring it back down and redraw it, land on this original line. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that, except we're going to start a little bit lower. Out and curve down, and we're going to curve back in to hit this line in the same spot. Okay, and each time we make one of these, we're going to want to curve this line back in like this. Okay, so you're going to want to keep doing that. Oops. Until you start to see a little shape that's going to work for an orb. Go ahead and let it get down as low as possible. Draw in a little orb. And you can put another shape in there, or you can black that shape. It doesn't matter. Now, in the step out, I think she has you doing this next, but that confused me a little bit. And so what I want to do, and there's some overlapping to this, and in the step out again, what works is if you then, instead of repeating this, or you could repeat it going down. Let's see. The overlap at the top of these hills wouldn't quite be the same, but it would work. So in the step out, it is overlapped thus, but it is not drawn in this specific order. I just think, for me, this makes more sense. So start at the top of the hill again, and you're going to go in the opposite direction until you have drawn behind and you've got this overlap happening. Okay? Now, shift your tile just a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down, I'm going to start behind, and you want to curve into this line before you get down to the dip. All right? You want room to move down a little bit. Because as you add these, you'll get a little bit lower. And just keep adding them until you get one that curves down in there, and it almost looks like you could fit an orb in there, which you usually can. Draw in your orb. And shift your tile. Start at the top apex of this hill. And overlap some right there. And if you have some blank spots like that, you can black those in. Okay, and go down to the next spot. Start behind here. Come out and bring your line into the original curvy line we drove with the S shapes. And each consecutive one is going to get smaller, shorter, and smaller. Just keep curling them in until you find a natural spot for an orb. It will, if you curl these in right, this spot for the orb will happen. When you don't think you can put any more in, fit an orb in there at the bottom. And then, yeah. Just put a hint of one right here. And black the rest. Now, I'm going to turn my tile over, and I'm going to repeat this coming from the other direction. So this is where I would start. It's the same place that I started going the other direction. It's at the top of one of these hills. And I'm going to draw in the same thing. Coming back down into the original line right here. And getting gradually smaller. Okay, when you get to a spot, you can't take any more, just finish it off with an orb. Shift your tile slightly. Start at the apex and go back down the other direction. Now, I think if I saw Simone draw it in the manner of the step out is written in the order that she does it, that might make more sense to me. But for me, it just made more sense to sort of do one side and then do the other. If you guys have a better way to draw this, please drop me a comment and let me know. This is such an elegant, pretty little ribbon pattern. You know, once you get done with the orbs and all of that, the echo lines are just way cool. Oh, I needed to go down a little further on this one. But what that means is we're going to have plenty of room to come this direction. We might have room for 2 orbs there, and that would be fine. We'll just do it like that. So this is basically it. If you follow these in order, aim for the line before you get down all the way down into the dip. Add your echo lines. And let them do their thing. As long as you are drawing these back in and curving them back into the original line, these little orb spots will show up. Like that. Okay. So this is MySwing, and if you would like to stay and participate in the next part of the tile creation, you are welcome to do so. All right. So what I'm going to do is maybe do one that's a little bit bigger if I can actually manage to make it bigger. We'll see. I'm going to make my S curves more pronounced, maybe. Okay. Having trouble with ink on the bottom of my stroke. All right. So I'm going to start here. Okay, and there's my little orb spot. And I'm just going to, let's see. Just sort of curl that. Don't ask me, that's how I'm doing it. Here. All right. So now I'm going to turn this slightly, and I'm going to do back down this hill this way. However, I think I'm going to do this way, so I've got room to come down here. And since I want to do this, have this go behind this one, I need to do this first. And really, the only thing that's going to change depending on the order that you draw this is which elements are overlapping which. For example, in this spot, then this one might overlap this one. But you're going to get about the same result. Either way. Ooh, this orb's going to be tiny. just like that. I'm going to turn my tile now and come back down this hill in the other direction. See where we end up. Probably a little too high. Let's bring that down a little bit. And if you get into this situation, you can certainly black in right here. Or rather ink in. I'm working on it. Guys, I'm a work in progress every day. All right, and now I'm going to come back down this direction. Just making some gentle curved echo lines. And then we're going to black around the orb. And once again, this is your art. If you decide to vary this and do something completely different, that is going to be fine too. And since I'm down here at the end, I'm just going to round that off a little bit and leave it. Let's see, where did I miss here? So at this point, I can either add another element, I can make it go a different direction, or I can put a smaller single element in here. I can leave this blank. I can aura the whole thing. I can add some sort of things to bring it together. I think I'm going to start by making an aura, kind of a loose aura around here on the inside, and see what occurs to me then. I love the way that auras really finish something off. Looks like I'm going to have some stray lines to clean up, but I can do that. Not afraid of a little cleanup. I don't like that angle for myself, so I'm going to start here. Remember to take your time as you are. Breathe. I know that seems self-explanatory. We sort of do that on our own. You would be surprised, though, how many people take shallow, wimpy breaths Therefore, they don't fill up their lungs, their lungs with oxygen. And they don't get a lot of oxygen to the brain. So when you want to breathe, you want to take deep belly breaths. That's what we call them in this house. That's what I'm sticking with. Okay, so I like that. Oh, you know what I really want to do in here? I don't know if I'll regret it. We're going to do it though. I'm going to put some hollabaugh in here, not as an additional tangle, but sort of as a tangle enhancer. And so, and if you want to use another tangle, of course you can. I suppose technically this is actually adding a tangle, but I don't. Okay, it's adding a tangle. But this just needs hollabaugh to sort of connect it. I'm going to put a fun little sort of a triangle in there. And I think I'll stretch one from here. Oops. And okay, and I don't even think I want to necessarily overlap those as far as going different directions. I could, and I kind of like how that is, so I think I'm going to think about that while I draw in some other things. I think I'm going to go ahead and aura over on this side. Okay, we're going to need to come down the other direction. And I just say that, not because that's a rule, but because it's easier for me to have control of my pen stroke doing it in that fashion. So you choose whatever way is most comfortable for your hand, arm, and shoulders. Sometimes we adapt to doing things a certain way because our bodies require it of us, and a lot of times we don't even realize that we have adapted to something. Our bodies are amazing things, and if we treat them right, they will try to work well for us. If we do not, and we don't eat our vegetables and fruit and other important things that give us nutrients, then we will get sick and our bodies will not support us. Okay, I really like the way that looks. And there is a big part of me that sort of wants to cross some of these, but I just don't know if I can do it without causing trouble. I like to do things like that, and then I end up with them looking funny. Hollabaugh is another one of those patterns that can be difficult for me. Maybe if I don't cross them, but at least I put them at different angles, that will help a little bit. Okay, and then I can put in some other orbs and things like that to fill this in, or I can go through and black this, which may be what I decide to do, because I know that as much as I don't like blacking, it makes a tile really dramatic. It makes a big difference, especially if you do a nice clean job, which is always hit and miss with me. Okay, I think I'm going to grab my PN in black and fill that in, because I've just decided it's going to look very cool. Okay, so this is where I'm at now. Not sure I still have any better ideas. Let me think. I really like the way those look. I think maybe I don't know how excited I am about that. Maybe I'll put a few in and see how it goes. Oh, I don't mind that so much. Yeah. I'm just going to go for it all here. sometimes I can get them fairly well, and sometimes not so much. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and black this section up here. And so I will do that for you. And I think I'm going to black up here, and I'm going to speed it up for you so you don't have to sit through all of it. So this is pretty dynamic, and of course, again, the light washes this out. But this is where I'm going to leave the ink work, and of course, I'm going to go back through here with my ink pen and fill in any spots that I missed after this dries off pretty well. I think I got most of it fairly well, but there's some spots up here that I'm going to have to go over. So I'll take my time with that. Now, as far as shading goes, you can shade this like we did M. Manning the other day. So when I mentioned M. Anning, that tangle, remember we, on the large elements, I put some graphite in. I think on this particularly, I'm going to put graphite along the center line, the line that I drew first. Then also add where the lines converge. So like here. And if I have a big enough element and I want to, then I can run some pencil along one side of these. And that will make this look a little bit articulated. So it depends on the size of the elements, how much ability you will have to shade the individual elements. There we go. So I'm going to blend this out just a little bit. Show you how this will work. If you grab and use graphite along the center line, that's going to give you much more of a folded looking 3D quality. No, it's hard to get a light and not have it gray everything out. But then if you add a little bit of graphite along each of these echo lines, you can really give them a 3D quality and make them stand out individually if you like. So, and I'm sorry, I can't seem to do a better job of getting the light balanced. I can't find one of those lights that someone recommended to me. And when I look for true color lights, I get the lights that change color, and that's not at all what I want. Unless you guys want, Christmas lights or something. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to do my shading and fix up my line work and such. But this again on a gray tile. I can use either my white charcoal or my Prismacolor along this area right here. And sort of, I hate that I can't, all right. You can't really tell, and I apologize for that, but putting highlights on the part that looks like it's curved outwards is also so I would put more here, along here, on the spots where you're not shading in here. That's where you want to add some white highlight. Your jelly roll will work great in these little orbs if you've made them large enough for that. So some things to think about. All right, guys, this is where I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Don't forget, if you're going to post your art, to tag me with it on Instagram at thetirelesstangler, and I'm going to see you there. All right, see you tomorrow.